Okay, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about physical contact when it comes to safety and working with a child that may be dysregulated. So, um, clearly, when we're working with young children, we want to maintain a feeling of safety, and we often find that kids with regulatory challenges really struggle with being safe with their body. It's important to remember why. So, thinking about, the behavior that we may see them acting out is usually coming from the bottom of the iceberg, i.e., what they are struggling with from a sensory perspective. So they could be struggling with body awareness, which means they have a decreased proprioceptive sense, and they don't necessarily know where their body is in space. And so when they bump and when they hit other kids or kick something, it actually gives them some nice feedback to where their body is in space. And so that actually feels kind of nice to them. So there's the proprioceptive seekers where actually hitting and biting and pushing is actually feeling really nice to them. Um, and then there's the idea of they don't know how to grade their pressure and the force of their body movements. And so that's something that you have to think about as something that might be underlying what's impacting their behavior. Another thing is they could be struggling with their ability to formulate language about how they're feeling. And so when they're hitting or biting or pushing, it could be their way of communication because it's too hard for them to formulate the words. This doesn't feel good to me, Kathy. But rather, if they show with their body, it's a quick and easy way to do that, right? Um, Another reason why a child might be hitting or acting out in a way that's physically unsafe is just if they're feeling threatened and they're just really, trying to guard themselves and protect themselves. Again, they might not be able to formulate the language at that time, but it could be like a fight flight where they're really feeling unsafe and showing us with their body that this is not okay. And so thinking about, those few examples that I gave, if we do run into children that are showing us some physical aggression and some intensity, what do we do as far as containing them, keeping them safe, keeping yourself safe, and keeping other children around you safe? One of the biggest things to think about is your physical presence when a child is being physical with you. Okay, so if you have a big body presence, they will feel more threatened, and they will likely act out more. So if you're standing over them, they're not going to be feeling so comfortable around that. So one of the things to do is to get down at their eye level and to be even below their eye level if possible to help them de-escalate. And you want to think about creating a containing barrier, so to speak. So that could be your arms outstretched to contain them from reaching other children. It could be you holding a pillow or something as a barrier in between you and saying, oh, no, I know, I see you're trying to hit or you're pushing. This is a big deal. You're not feeling good. You kind of sportscast, so to speak, what they're doing with their body. I see you trying to hit. I see your eyebrows look like this. I see you're frowning. I hear you. You're yelling. Wow, you must be really upset. Oh, yeah, I see. You're really pushing me away. And then what you can say is, I'm going to keep you safe. I can't let you hit me. I can't let you hit your friends because what you're trying to do is keep them in a safe space where they're not going to be physically harming someone and then later on feeling the regret of like, oh my goodness, I hit my friend. I didn't mean to. And then there's all that shame around that. So you're wanting to protect them, both from hurting another person and from like the shame that comes along with not being able to control their body. And so your job when we're dealing with a child that has some physical aggression is to stay as cool and calm and collected as possible, saying what you see, identifying the emotional language. Oh, yeah, I can tell you're so sad. You're so mad. I have to keep you safe. Um, you're trying to contain them in a smaller space. If you're in a big space, such as a park, try to find a way to contain in a smaller space so they can feel less overwhelmed by their sensory environment. If you're able to move things around the equipment in order to make like a safe haven space for them, like a womb space where they can really, push up against the wall, push up into pillows, those kind of things to kind of help calm their body, that would be great. When you're seeing it's happening with a friend and you're seeing that there's like some physical aggression towards a peer, you're wanting to limit that and find a safe space for the friend too. So at this point, you're trying to advocate for the child that is having feelings by sportscasting, so to speak, as I mentioned before. Oh, yeah, I can see you're so mad. Then you also have to be the voice of that other child. If there's not another person close by, you say, wow, yeah, that was surprising. He tried to push you. Yeah, I think he's having some feelings. I'm not so sure that he likes what's happening. And then kind of check in. I'm going to keep you safe. Yeah, let's keep you over here. And you're over here. We can't let you in. I know, you're so mad. I know you're so mad. And then you're tending to, if someone is feeling emotionally like threatened by the other child, you're tending to those emotions as well. And so thinking about using emotional language to meet the child where they're at, whether it's the child that's being aggressive or the child that is feeling threatened by the aggressor, trying to match both kids' emotional experience, and then redirect the behavior. But the emotional experience is first. And so what's very common in schools is just like, no hitting, no, separate, I'm going to physically move your body, and just like really on it in the fact that it's like, control, lift the body, control, keep the child away. And yes, of course, that prevents safety, but it helps with safety. But at the same time, when you're working with a child that has some sensory sensitivities, to physically pick up their body when they're unexpected, when they're not expecting it, and when they're having big feelings, when they're already trying to push or hit, that can be just a recipe for disaster. So you're wanting to think about respecting that child's place in space because they're feeling dysregulated and not grounded. And if you're going to pick them up and throw them over your shoulder and quickly get this situation taken care of, they're actually going to be feeling more threatened. And so thinking about how do we maintain grounding for this child that's already feeling on edge? How do we help support that? And how do we help the other child as well? So when it comes to, the child that's still hitting and still acting out, you may have to hold them. And I would recommend that you always tell them and share with them your intention before you do that. I see you keep hitting and this isn't safe. I'm going to have to help your body. I'm going to use the pillow. Oh, the pillow's not good. Okay, then I'm going to have to hold you. I know this is so hard. I'm going to keep you safe. And you're using really calming tone of voice, affect, rhythm, and you're not giving too much language. You're just giving your intention of, I'm going to hold you until you're feeling safe, until you can be safe. And then I respect the child. If they're having a really hard time with the holding, then I say, oh, well, I need to keep you in this space. And I try to find a way that can contain them if the holding is not working. Because, sometimes children will be triggered if we're holding them and it feels really bad. Now, thinking about groups of children, when one child is having a really hard time, and again, we want to respect their relationship to gravity and not trying to uproot them if we don't have to. If you can redirect the other children and help them recognize what's going on and help the other children find a safer space, that would be ideal rather than having to isolate and move the child that is having a hard time. So when the other kids are noticing that a child is escalating, oh yeah, this is really tough. I see he's upset. You can point out their face. Yeah, I see his eyebrows look angry. Yeah, I hear him screaming. He's upset. And as long as someone is working with that child and is individually meeting that child's needs, then the other person in the group can help support. Let's go give this child some space. I think that he needs a little space. Maybe we can go over here. And I know it might be a little bit hard to move, but I think when he's ready, he'll come back and play. But I think he needs some space. And so allowing the children to wonder about what's going on is a great thing because they're curious about the other child's emotions. Maybe they're thinking about, the right and wrong of the event, or why is he sad, or why is he angry, or why can't he control his body. All of these things are fine to wonder out loud with the children, and it gives them some opportunity to be reflective. Oh yeah, I think he's really upset. Have you ever been that upset? Oh yeah, he was using his body. Yeah, that was surprising. Yeah, we try not to use our body. Wow. Have you ever used your body when you're upset? Oh yeah, you have. Yeah, you know how it is. It can be hard. What helps you calm down? And then that gives the other children some understanding of the emotional experience that the child is having. So hopefully that will help as you're thinking about how to deal with some of the physical contact stuff. Again, always share your intention if you're going to have to hold back or keep someone's body safe away from another child's body. Respect them as individuals. Try not to pick them up unless it's like complete safety and you have to. Um, and always allow some time for reflection afterwards when there's a big physical event like that, for both the child that witnessed some aggression from the child, or for the child that was showing the aggression. It's always important to reflect on those. Okay.